Hi, Blaine. How are you? Good. Good. Well, we'll get this meeting started. I want to welcome everybody out here this morning. It's December 11th, 2025, our regular board meeting at the Magna Water District, which is 8885 West, 3500 South, General Office Building. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you please stand with me with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome public and guest. We have public comment. Does anybody here have anybody here want to address the board on an issue they have?
I just had a question, or is that?
No.
First time I've been there.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, come on.
I just, Mike DeVries, I live down by Mike DeVries,
Right.
and he said that something about, if you have secondary water, that he has an acre and a half, and they charge more for an acre and a half than somebody in the subdivision. So I was wondering why, or, because I have 3 acres.
Okay. So Clint, can you answer that? Or
Sure, so is he talking about
The maintenance fee, $50 a month was what it was,
maintenance fee?
for a secondary water, but
Do you want 45 for that size of a lot?
so why is it based on the size of the lot? Or is it, should be based on the meter, shouldn't it?
It's based on the acreage in our fee schedule. But if someone with that size lot can show irrigatable acres, then we can adjust it to that. But we just need for you to
It's
come down.
basically trying to make it fair amongst the users and equitable. So, if you have a giant lot, a big lot, compared to somebody with a small lot, the idea is that you would use more water, right? So you have to have more capacity available there to
Okay,
use.
so it's for the capacity.
You're having some amount that we have to set aside and be able to maintain for you as a bigger lot. It's not equivalent to the same thing as somebody with a smaller lot. So it's trying to adjust for that. But like Leal said, if you had a big lot but were only irrigating a small portion of it with the secondary water, then we could make some adjustments.
Okay,
does that answer?
yeah, I'm just, because it's based on a meter, because it's how much water you use, not how much, or what it, I don't know why.
Well, there's,
Because I know it costs money to put the pipe in and all that. I haven't got secondary water yet.
well, certainly, if you're curious, we can come run some scenarios ahead of time before you to make that decision.
Okay.
And we can tell you how much savings you would have on the drinking water side.
So is that 45 a month for a whole year? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to give Mandy, be right in front of you,
Okay.
your phone number, and then we could have Clint and Trevor, our district
Come on in,
engineer,
Or just stop by.
Okay.
Yeah,
whatever will work.
Yeah, we can
Alright,
run
that-
some
that
scenarios.
works.
We'll take your specific information and we'll run it and give you some options.
And then the follow-up question is, how soon will you stopped at Newman's, but how soon will the pipe go down? I'm on the other side of Newman's, so I don't have secondary.
I don't know where we're at.
And so when will the secondary water continue down Parkway?
We'd have to pull up your specific
Okay,
area.
I'll stop by.
Here we go.
Yeah, we can pull that up and see where you're at and what the schedule
Where
is.
you at now? I'm about right here. Right there,
Right there.
right there.
You're really close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right across the street from the Dave Ortiz and them guys.
I don't know that we have anything on the current
Not on the current plan for that area.
plan, but.
It's this one right here.
Yeah.
So the strategy for the secondary that we've had in general is we've tried to take a prioritized approach.
Okay,
So it hasn't been cost effective yet to get it to everybody in the
Yeah.
community. So we've tried to prioritize new developments, so new subdivisions, we make them put it all in.
it would be a while. you
It
think?
could be depending on, things change when
Yeah.
other options come up, like if there's a big development that happens close by, it might make sense to extend
Okay.
the water a little bit farther, but in general, we're prioritizing the biggest bang for the buck, the most use we can get on with the least amount of cost. We haven't got to the point where we're installing it throughout the whole system, so.
Okay.
But we can keep you posted, if we know that you're curious and anxious.
Or just reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, and I know Mike could reach you. Anyway, I'll talk to him and then we'll reach out.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
Any other public comment? Okay, see none, let's move on. Does anybody here have a conflict, anything on our agenda today that they need to disclose? If not, we can move on to there. So, item F, let's introduce our new employee introduction, our new engineer.
Yep, we've got Ty Quinn, stand. He started with us in November. We're excited to have him. Some things that I've noticed in the short time that he's been here is, one, he's very prompt on being here on time. He's early most days by 20 minutes. He's responsive when people are asking things, and he's good to take on anything that we've asked of him. Why don't you take a minute just to introduce yourself?
Yeah, like Andrew said, my name's Ty Quinn, new staff engineer. My background consists of, I just recently graduated from the University of Utah with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. I also had 5 years before that, during my schooling, of internship with a consulting firm, Water Design, which we designed chemicals systems and also the actual structure of swimming pools and water features and stuff like that. Currently, I have my FE complete, but I'm working towards my professional engineering license. And I have a wonderful family. I have a wife and a beautiful 4-month-old baby.
Congratulations.
So it's been great. So that's just a little about it.
We want to welcome you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Ty.
Okay, let's move on to our employees, Rick.
Yeah, I'll take that. I don't think any of them were able to make it in this morning, but we let them know that they were gonna be recognized. Quinn, he's one of our new employees. He's been here right about a year now. He just finished up his wastewater collections too, which isn't easy to do that along with the CDL all in 1 year. Connor McReynolds, Gavin Henshaw, and Dawson Stewart just finished up their traffic control technician. We're excited that they're taking that on, and then Chris Thompson, our construction lead, and Steve, our water operations manager, just finished up their traffic control supervisor.
Great,
A lot of things accomplished in the last month.
appreciate that. Okay, so we're kind of jumping schedules because I got to leave. So let's do our awards.
Do these first.
Well, do you want to do, yeah, let's do the common consent items first.
Minutes of the regular board meeting held November 13, 2025. Minutes of the 2026 budget hearing held November 13, 2025. Expenses from November 2nd to November 30th, 2025. General expenses, $1,293,437.19. Zions Bank bond payment, $323,151.61.
All in favor?
I'll second
I mean, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, jumping the gun. Okay.
Do you want to do these?
Yes, let's do these. Let's,
You want to come up here?
yeah, sure. Come on, let's go.
Start on this end.
Dallas?
So Dallas just, this year has completed 15 years of service.
Wow, that's pretty.
Have him here, appreciate that. Mandy's just completed 5 years.
So why don't we do this, once we hand them out, we'll just do a picture. Forever?
5 years.
5 years won't lie.
Matt Hunter, 5 years as well.
Way to go, Trev.
Mike Barnes, 5 years as well. Dilly with first 10 years.
There he is.
Thank you.
That has flown by, I appreciate it.
Has not flown by, is that what you said?
Very fast. It has not flown by. Steve Clark with 30. Whoa.
Steve's got the most seniority, so he has the most say.
30 years, not very often people make it 30 years with one company. Before you do sit down, I have some thank you cards for the staff.
Thank you.
We appreciate the board and everything that you guys have done for us this year. We went around and gathered signatures for this. I can say everybody was more than happy to put their support in these thank you cards. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
All these guys with these awards.
Kenny?
Thank you.
30 in March.
Want me to take the picture? Oh, Brian's got it.
Yeah, I think it's Steve. Not Scarborough, myself, or no.
This boardroom wasn't made for this stuff. Get grouped up.
I was thinking it was in March. In March, I think.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, everyone.
Yes.
They were very young. Like 18.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mandy.
So we're gonna jump a little bit today on our agenda. We're gonna move over to item K. Correct, Clint, am I right? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
A discussion of possibly motion to approve the following projects awarded an agreement.
We doing the insurance first?
Let's do the, go ahead, Clint, are you,
All right,
okay, the
yeah,
reading?
Sure. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We've got Brian with Olympus Insurance here that can help summarize what's going on with our general insurance and some of the major changes in the policy, if the board has any questions.
I know our time is short. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you, members of the board and staff.
Program update?
Yes, if we just get to that last
Microphone?
one. This is perfect. I figured, I know you have the full PDF there and,
Do we not have that?
It's,
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I think it needs to be charged. I need to get it out. I'll get it out.
I can speak up.
Okay, that's fine, yeah, if you
Try
can.
it then.
So rather than make you go through the whole PDF, I do have a slide deck, but I think this slide in particular really sums up the primary exposure changes. As we look through, exposures are those things that the insurance company rates on when they develop their premiums. As you look at our total insured value, which is our property values, 46.5% is rather significant. You know, fortunately for us, we didn't build 46.5% more assets this year. Boy, can't hold it too close. I sound like I've got, sound like the Almighty here, boy. So the driver behind that is all insurance companies, and AIG, we have a very, very good program, are very cautious as far as making sure that we are insured to value. They recently completed a valuation study and determined a number of our assets needed a bit of an adjustment in values. And it's certainly not us, it's the industry as a whole. The most notable and kind of public issue where this has come up, everyone probably remembers that Baltimore bridge that collapsed. We work with the underwriter at Chubb that insured that, and that bridge was built for $40 million. He insured it for $385 million. You've probably seen in the news it's going to cost $5.2 billion to replace it. So the insurance check that Chubb happily gave them is, less than a deposit. And that's what every insurance company is trying to mitigate, to make sure that, we're insured to the appropriate value. We have an additional benefit with our program. All the really good property insurance programs give you what's termed a blanket limit. So if they view you as being insured to value, they let you use your entire limit, which would be $138 million in the event of a claim on any one facility. So if, heaven forbid, we had a big earthquake and the EDR plant fell over and cost double what it was insured for to rebuild, if we're insured to value like this with a blanket, we would have all of that paid for by insurance. So it does give us a big benefit, but it does have, fairly significant impact on our costs this year, even though our rates are down about 10%, 12.5% on just the property, but it does cause about a 16% increase in premium due to that change in property value. So I know that was a lot, and I tried to keep it rapid fire, but I don't know if anyone has any questions on
I
that.
don't have any questions. Do you have any questions? No.
And if you have 15 more seconds, the next one other slide, there's one with claims as a graph right here. Sorry, like rapid fire.
Right here.
No, keep going. It'll be this one, yeah, so. Really briefly on our claims, I mainly just want to, I know the district staff probably wouldn't bring this up, but I certainly felt it was material. Really just to highlight the great work being done by everyone at the district. When you look at our claims, over the last 9 years, 9 years ago we had 7 claims a year. 8 years ago we were having 8 claims. And I know the year's not over yet, so we should probably knock on wood, right? But we haven't had a claim, which is really phenomenal. I think it speaks to the leadership and the proactivity of the board and the staff here to be proactive in addressing risk and not waiting for it to promulgate, develop into claims. On our work comp front, our EMOD, which is kind of our score as far as how we're performing relative to the average of water and sewer agencies nationally, we have a 0.74. So in essence, we're 26% better than the average agency. So really phenomenal work. The district's doing a terrific job, and I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware of that. So.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, I want to thank you guys too for, like I said, all your safety and all your keeping up on all that stuff. So from the board, we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.
So with that, unless the board has any questions, we'd recommend
Entertain a motion.
they consider a motion on that to
Okay.
continue our relationship.
Okay,
Sure.
so, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Olympus Insurance in the amount of $265,952 for the 2026 policy.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Trevor?
Are we gonna jump to,
I think we want to do the Blue Cross.
Okay, let's do the Blue Cross. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you, Board and Chair. We're just bringing to the board the renewal for the Regents Blue Cross Blue Shield. You can see that it's going to be a 4% increase, which is one of the smallest increases that we've had in recent years, and it's quite small compared to what other people are seeing throughout the nation. I've got Wayne here. He can talk a little bit about the process he went through as he vetted other insurances.
We represent about every health insurance company that can write health insurance in the state of Utah. Many insurance companies will not write groups under 10. You have 7 currently. However, Select Health will, United Healthcare will, and there was a few others that we checked. The Blue Cross Blue Shield policy, one way to really compare, and the big number that I always look at, is the maximum out-of-pocket. The maximum out-of-pocket with this Regent plan is $3,000 per person, where Select Health was $7,000 per person, and UHC was $3,500 per person. The Regent's plan was 11% less, saving about $24,000 a year from Select Health, and about $60,000 less, or about 27% less than United Healthcare. So I would recommend the group stays with Regis Blue Cross. It covers their doctors. It has the correct PPO, or the network of doctors that they've been used to since beginning of time. Any thoughts, any comments?
I don't have any comments. Do you have any?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Okay, let's move on to administration, management, staff.
Do you want to approve that one?
We're not gonna have to, it doesn't, do we have to approve that?
I would approve it.
Okay, okay, because it didn't say anything about approving it, but okay.
Yeah, okay.
Renewing, okay. Do you want to,
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Blue Cross and Blue Shield renewal of the Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance.
I'll second that.
made motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to the management staff. Consider approval. Resolution 2025-09,
Okay.
adopting the final budget.
Great, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So we've had several discussions on budgetary items. We have done our best to address any of the board's input on the amounts and stay within our budgetary approach that we discussed on utilizing. We have quite a few capital expenditures, but as we discussed, our primary source for that has been our reserves, and we'll continue that this year, with the goal not to reduce them more than the board feels comfortable with and management staff feels comfortable with. But also balance trying to complete the goals that we have here at the district. So the two changes that we made from last time based on the discussion was to drop the amount that we're requesting for the conservation garden improvements from 250 to 150.
Okay.
And if the board wants to do that other phase, we basically split it up in, so you could do it in phases if you
Okay.
wanted to do the remainder of the improvements in a future date. So that would eliminate the gathering pergola area, primarily, and some seating modifications. So that we could do in the future.
Somewhat, what'd you say?
Seating, so some of the
Okay, seating, okay, I'm with you.
We will still apply for the grant money and hopefully get a substantial portion of that paid for by Jordan Valley.
That would be
But we
great.
wanted to make sure you're aware that change has been made if the board's acceptable with that level.
Yeah.
On the conservation gardens. And then we did eliminate the camera van, and we'll continue to study that for maintenance costs. How much are we putting into it? And keep that on evaluation for possible inclusion in a future year's budget.
Great.
I think that's all. Did I miss anything?
Nope, those were the only two changes from the last time we
Okay.
reviewed it.
So if the board is okay with that, we'd ask for
The adoption.
that option for approval.
So do we need to, what part of this do we need to read? Nathan?
So I think what you would say here is I move to approve the 2026 final budget as amended.
Okay.
Right here on the front.
And just for the record, we know, we did hold the required public hearing,
Right.
which was duly noticed at the November meeting, and the board requested these changes, so there's
Right.
no further need for another public hearing.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to Proposed to approve the resolution 2025-09, adopting the district's 2026 final budget as amended.
I'll second that.
Been motion second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we'll move back to department reports, right?
No, right here, number 10, resolution.
Oh, number 10?
Resolution 10, number 4, L4.
Okay, L4? Okay.
I think.
Was
We
it-
could if you wanted to. It's another resolution that you have signed, so.
Okay, let's go ahead and,
Oh,
yeah, we're
Okay,
gonna
so
go back,
this-
but it's okay.
This resolution is regarding data privacy program that the state is requiring special districts, municipalities to establish in their districts and cities. We learned of it just last month, and this resolution will satisfy all of the requirements that we need to have done by the end of this year. This is an ongoing program that will take years for the district to completely comply, but this is just the beginning. It establishes a chief administrator, it designates a chief administrative and a records officer here at the district. And then it kind of outlays the responsibilities of those two individuals. The resolution appoints Clint as the chief administrative and myself as the records officer. We have to turn those two names into the Division of Archives?
State Archives.
State Archives by the end of the year. And then it also adopts a form that the state has given to everyone to use. It's what's it called?
So there's a,
The policy
there's
program?
There's a couple things here. So just to give you an idea why this is coming so late, the legislature passed this bill during the session and then directed the Division of State Archives to prepare some required templates that they want everybody to use. They did not provide us the templates until right before Thanksgiving. And the Division of Archives didn't do the required training for everybody until after your last board. So every local government in Utah is having this discussion with their December meeting. So basically, we're gonna appoint Clint and Lee Isle as essentially your records officers, who are gonna need to make sure that we comply with these new data requirements. We have to use a new, it'll be an internal report that you will just fill out to the best of your ability on your current data privacy efforts. That will be a protected record. It's not available to the public. It's just kind of a triage exercise to get you to think about things. And then there's a data privacy statement that the state has prepared that we will need to post to our website. So we did not have those documents until, we didn't have them at your last meeting. And so
Right.
this was something that the league reported on in August and said this is coming, but we don't have the documents. Lee Isle went to a training on the November 4th UASD meeting, still didn't have the documents then, so that's why it's coming. But next year, we are going to have to adopt a data privacy program, which we'll do as an amendment to your AR&Rs. The state has prepared a template. We don't need to do that right now. We just basically need to say, we're adopting these forms, we're gonna fill out the report, we're gonna post this statement, we're gonna designate these people as your records officer, and we're committing to do the privacy program next year. And there is a template policy they put together. It's going to be a lot of work. I personally think that the policy is designed for much larger government entities than this district, and you're not a small district, but and I think the intent is particularly for water districts that have a lot of sensitive data. There's an increase in cyber attacks, and there's a lot of sensitive information you have now to make sure that every local government is properly securing that stuff. So I do think there's a benefit to it, but it's gonna require some work.
Lots of work, but we'll do it.
okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-10, initiating the establishment of a data privacy program, designating Chief Administrative Officer Clint Dilly, and the authorized record officer will be Leal Fitzgerald.
Second that.
Been motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now what do we do?
So you might want to go back to your department reports, but I need to be excused. Are you guys okay with that? Sure. Okay. I'll turn the time over to Jeff, let him go ahead and run the meeting.
Okay, so we're at I1. Clint, if you want to give us your general manager report.
Yeah, you've got a copy of the GM report in the packet. The management team on all the department reports discussed keeping it brief in the interest of time. So we might highlight only one or two things, but if you have any questions, obviously let us know. We are fully staffed right now currently, and we are looking at a new position for next year. That's Andrew and Steve for maintenance, the in-house maintenance. So we're looking at all of our landscape contracts and all of our maintenance contracts with consultants, and we're holding off on any of those until we finish up that analysis. I think you guys are coming along.
Yeah, we've got some numbers that we're putting together,
For next
as well with the pesticide and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, with our pest control and trying to tie that and save as much money as we can on the consultant side, so. We'll report back on that probably next month. On the water side, just wanted to report that we have completed a review of our truck utilization for the construction crews and the meter crews to make sure that we're utilizing those efficiently and in the best interest of both time and resources, and trying to reduce the number of trucks at any one site at any time as much as possible. And Steve's been looking into that with the team. Anything to report on that, Steve?
Yeah, we've just had discussions with the lead men from the meter crew and the construction crew, and we've kind of come to some agreements on what trucks should go where, so that we can eliminate the use of quite as many.
Okay.
But,
I know that's difficult for the public to understand
Oh, yeah.
and sometimes.
when they see 4 or 5 trucks at a job site. I mean, oftentimes that's the most efficient use.
Sure.
But there are situations where we can cut down on that, and so that's what we're working towards. Hopefully you'll see a change in that and minimize any.
Well,
Causes.
one thing about it, in that support, when you've got a lot of people cross-trained and stuff, and then you're responding to a situation, you don't want to go pick somebody up and take them over. It's more,
Yeah.
like you said, it's more efficient to just respond. And
Right.
But you know, with all the traffic and all the things we got going today, you need a lot of them, the people there.
Yeah, safety requires
Safeties, you know, it's,
quite a bit. And as, like you said, we're training new people.
yeah,
We're trying to balance that, which can be difficult.
a lot of them people don't pay attention at all.
no, no.
On the wastewater side, I just wanted to highlight, they're continuing the grease trap inspections that we do with the pre-treatment program.
I have a question. Is
Yeah.
there a lot of violations in that regard?
No.
No? People are pretty.
The only one that we usually have to ride is that Spanish Market on 35th on the north side of the road. We get after them a little bit, but they have to do theirs every 2 or 3 weeks, where most people can get away with every month or so.
Wow.
So there's just a little bit of a language barrier with them, but once you get to the right people, they're compliant.
Huh, good.
On the office side, I'll just highlight that we've received bids from 3 different AMI customer portal interface options now. We think Yapify is the one that we'd like to propose. They are currently doing our communications program now, but they have this capability as well.
That's good.
So we think it could tie in seamlessly, and especially on our workflow when we notice and have our work service orders, it can help maybe integrate some of that customer. So we're excited about moving forward. We'll bring that to the board in January.
Okay.
And then as far as communication and morale, we've been working with the Kennecott and both the Kennecott and the Copper Club to discuss options for the irrigation of the golf course. We've also been working with Kennecott on that 8460 West, the trash and the dumping issue, as you're aware of. So we'll continue trying to work through those issues that impact all of us.
I want to thank you guys for being so prepared, for being able to answer questions to Kennecott for, you know, you guys are prepared to do whatever needs to be done, and sounds like that, we have a good relationship there.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that we can get that worked out and get a solution that works for everybody. And then I will note that we did have one customer complaint about a shut-off. We weren't open on a Friday. A customer called in and was complaining that we had shut somebody off and they weren't able to get it turned back on a Friday. We actually worked with them on the Friday night and had our on-call able to come turn that on in that situation. We told them that we are responsive and we are capable to respond to issues after hours. I think they seemed appreciative, and we worked through that issue, so hopefully.
Did they not have the right communication, or did they just wait too long?
It was actually somebody that was calling behalf of another customer.
Oh,
So the customer that was shut off wasn't calling us.
oh, no.
They were just, I think, complaining. So this neighbor helped them out. But when she provided the notice, they had 3 weeks' notice before to be able to pay. So it's one of those situations that we try to give people plenty of opportunities and notice. And it's usually only the ones that get drug out quite far,
Yeah.
or they have high balance and previous months. So just wanted to bring that to the board's attention and let you know what's going on in that capacity.
Thank you.
That's my report, unless you have any questions.
Okay, no, that's great. Any, Dan?
No.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Clint.
Thank you.
Okay, wastewater?
We do engineering?
Engineering?
Okay.
Sorry, Clint.
No, it's all good. Thanks, board. So influent pump station construction continues. They've had some significant concrete pours over the last couple weeks. So that is coming along quite nicely. We'll probably pretty soon see those screws being set. Also, the grip building is coming along well. Most of the exterior's completed. They're working on mechanical piping, interior, electrical components, those things. And there's also just site piping, manholes, conduit runs happening around the yard. Haynes number 8 replacement, still working with the EPA to get that one going. Haynes 7 is up and pumping, seems to be working quite well after the rehab on that.
How long had that been down, Trevor?
Haynes 7?
Yeah,
A
year?
Maybe 6 months or so?
36 months?
6 months.
6 months, all told. It's amazing, those well videos, though. Looks very, very good after the fact. Let's see, other things. Zone 3 secondary water reservoir. Started construction up there. They've grubbed the entire site, tons of topsoil. Starting to excavate the reservoir right now. Newman's got a lot of manpower and equipment out there moving quickly, hoping to dig the whole thing by January.
Wow,
So, moving a lot of material on that project.
by January?
Where have they taken the fill? We had some stockpiled.
Well, yeah, we have a construction easement that they're stockpiling the topsoil, and then they're gonna use a lot of the material that they're excavating, blend it, and use it for the
Wow.
dike on the reservoir, downhill side, so.
So we don't have to dispose of it somewhere else?
Likely not much. Not a big pile like our previous project. That's pretty much it. If you have questions on anything specific.
No, it makes us a little sensitive when we hear stockpile.
Yeah, the topsoil will go back on site, right? They'll spread that back out so we can grow the vegetation.
Okay. So water operations, Steve?
All right, thank you, Board. So the culinary water production for the month of November was 107.01 million gallons, or 328.43 acre feet. And that's an 11.84% increase from November of 2024. The year-to-date production was 1,812.33 million gallons, or 5,562.24 acre feet. And that's an 8.11% increase from 2024. So far, year-to-date, we purchased 739.6 acre feet of water from Jordan Valley. As far as call-outs go, we had 13 of them. 9 of them were water, 4 of them were wastewater, for a total of 44 hours. 27 of those were water and 17 were wastewater. We had 0 mainline leaks, 2 service line leaks, and then 11 miscellaneous calls. That's my report, that's all I have.
Okay, were the miscellaneous I mean, you had 11 of them, were they,
Sorry, what's that?
you had 11 miscellaneous calls, were they just customer?
Yeah, a lot of like cold side leaks, customer side leaks, we had some of those. And then, a small power issue at the plant, but nothing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Dallas?
Yes, sir, Mr. White. If I could just turn your attention to the WRF operations report, what I really wanted to focus on here is 2025 is the first year that we're operating under our new effluent total phosphorus limit of 1.0. Prior to 2025, we had a limit of 1.8. As of right now, we're looking at being at a 0.95, so well within compliance. Last year, the district finished at 1.37, so this limit is stringent. We've never been below 1 before. That's what's required now. It's taken a lot of effort to get there, but we've got the plant in a really good place, and I think that's kind of been a lingering issue. Was a big reason why the reuse went online and the reason we selected that equipment type. And this kind of shows that the decisions we've made and the operations we've been doing are working out.
So this is a new requirement for us. Are they gonna keep tightening that down as time goes on?
Boy, I sure hope not. Even to get to 0.95's been tough, so I don't know.
They would have to redo a look at our basin, right?
They'd have to, there's quite a bit that would go into lowering that limit, and even if they did, we'd still get some type of variance as we work towards that limit. So I think we're in a good place.
It took 10 years from when what was the timeline? It was like 10 years from when they approved that, right?
Yeah, it was probably 10 years, and then they gave us a 5-year variance period where we got to operate at our existing limit before that went into effect.
Wow,
So,
okay, great.
and that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, is that you now, Leon?
Yes, thank you, Board.
Compliance?
So there's quite a few things coming up, it's end of the year, of course, but the yellow items are coming up and the blue we have completed. The one compliance item that I'd like to bring up is remind the board that each and every one of you have to fill out a conflict of interest form, and I can provide those to you first part of January. Those forms are posted on the website after they're filled out. If we're not in compliance, then I have to issue a warning to the trustees. So I'll get you guys compliant so we don't have to do that.
So is it the administrative staff that have to fill out the,
No, it's the board members.
just the board?
So as a reminder with this, there's the normal conflict of interest ethics forms that you've always had to do. This is the This is basically the conflict of interest disclosure that the legislators have to fill out, and they apply that to all elected local government and municipal officials. So I think we've done this 1 year. This is the first
Yeah.
time we're renewing it. It is
This
a
is the
pretty intensive form, but if you've already filled it out once before, it probably should be a lot easier this time unless you've had
I
significant.
think we have filled it out before.
You have.
You did,
Yeah.
you just need to renew it each year.
Okay,
Yeah.
Once,
So I'll reach out to each one of you and make sure that I get you the form and so we can get it on the
and when will they
website.
be due? They gotta be
I
done in
believe it's
January?
the January 31st is the
Okay.
deadline, so,
Yeah.
Good,
but that's all I have.
that's it,
thank you.
okay. Let's see, so. Andrew.
You're all right. Thank you, Board. Just got a couple quick things. This month, we are focusing on our safety meetings with fire safety, talking about different ways of prevention as well as we'll do some training on fire extinguishers. The other thing that we've had going on, we had Brian from Olympus and representative from WCF come out a couple weeks ago and tour some of our facilities to come up with a plan on how to handle the hatches and skylights after what had happened to one of our neighboring districts, to make sure that we're compliant with how to operate those, but as well as keep our staff safe. So some of the things that came out of it is I think we're in pretty good shape out there at the sewer plant because of the parapets, giving us that safety wall.
The order that goes around?
Yes, yes. The EDR,
Do we need to put a handrail around that, right?
no, it's high enough, I think. And then with the EDR, they kind of had a parapet design, but it doesn't wrap around the whole building up there. And so the option that I think is going to be best there is we put a safety line on the ground as an indicator of don't cross this line. And anytime somebody goes up there, they have to have a second person there as their.
So it will be back about 10 feet from the edge of the roof or
Yes.
something? Okay.
And then the other existing hatches that don't already open from the inside, we will start prioritizing with Steve and Trevor on which ones we need to be able to get to the soonest based off of the maintenance schedule and start changing those out. They create some that are just bolt onto your existing framework. You just take off the old hatch, put on a new hatch,
Oh.
and they're able to access it from inside and then use your tag lines for.
So will you submit that in January? Is it expensive?
Those are we're gonna start doing those probably next year based off of the maintenance schedule, but I don't think it's gonna come at a huge lump cost. They're about $800 a hatch. And so based off of what Steve and Trevor see that we're gonna need access, as soon as we'll start replacing those.
I think we will bring back a schedule.
Yes.
We can bring back a schedule of priority and they'll estimate the cost and then start working through the program.
Sounds good.
That's it for me.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay. So, Trevor, are you gonna do wastewater availability? Water
Yeah.
sewer availability?
Yep. Thank you, Board. So the first one here is CMD Towing. That's located at 7156 West Gates Avenue. I will go to the GIS map so we have a understanding of the area. This is just south of SR 201 and east of 7200. 7156 here is this empty lot. And they'll have a small building, but a tow yard, water and sewer that's in the location. We've got 16-inch water, 8-inch water on the south side, and we have sewer. So they'll just be extending laterals to that kind of office building that they'll have for that. Gone through fire flows, scenarios and pressures, and everything checks well, and make a recommendation to approve water and sewer for for this development.
Okay. So, I'd like to make a motion to approve CMD towing water and sewer availability located at 7160 Gates Avenue.
Second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Trevor, are they allowed, are they required to put any landscaping in front of that or anything, or is that?
So that'll be a, I think, West Valley City requirement, but yeah, they will have some level of frontage improvement, probably sidewalk, curb gutter, landscape.
Do they have to run secondary water into? Will they be required?
So that's an area where there is a dry line put in through the 7-Eleven. So there'll be a dry service there, but not secondary water for them at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Okay. Next one we have is Flangus Townhomes PUD. We talked about this one recently, well, actually not too recent, a couple years ago. This is off of Doris Street, which is just west of 8400 near the old Magna High School. I'll go to our,
Brockbank.
yeah, in Brockbank.
How did they get the sewer out of there?
So we've talked a lot, reviewed their plans, and that's where we're at, you know, bringing this back. I've been working with them a lot on their design, what we require, a lot of modifications, and it kind of boils down to they're building the site up to where they can, you know, have that sewer flow from the north end to the south and then out to east to 8400.
So they're gonna put 8-foot embankment up there?
9 to 10 feet. 9 to 10 feet on the north side.
9 to 10 feet?
From existing grade. It works. They meet all of our design requirements as far as water and
Or
sewer,
water and sewer.
separation, depths, those
So it's
things.
still gotta get through the county?
Yeah, this is just their approval for us, you know, to provide water and sewer, you know, and then I'll, of course, move through our development process where we review the plans in more depth and
I didn't think they.
bonding and
They
fees.
should put parking underneath and then just put on stilts.
Skyrise. So with that being said, you know, we've gone through our analysis on existing utilities and what they're proposing, and we recommend approval of water and
Are they
sewer.
gonna go all the way out on 8,000 or just Door Street?
For water,
Sewer.
sewer, it'll go to Robin Street, there to the south.
Right.
Basically, it'll start up here, it'll come down this way, and then over to 84
And it takes 8 to 10 feet to do that, huh?
at the far north end to get the slope.
Okay, well, if you say it's okay, I'll make a motion to approve water and sewer to Flangus Townhomes, PUD located at 2943 South Doris Street.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Where the heck are we at now?
K2?
Or K1. K1, yeah.
K1 we did.
K1's done, I think it is K2.
The IGES.
Yeah, we did that, yeah.
Where are we at? Oh, K2, I'm sorry.
K2,
You're
that's
right.
right.
I see it. I didn't highlight it. Let's
I'll
see.
keep going.
Yeah,
Okay.
IGE.
So this is an amendment to a current task order for IGES. They're doing the material testing on our influent project. You know, when we set up the original task order, we estimate the amount of trips out there for material testing, concrete, compaction, those sorts of things. We're reaching the original budget, which was around 15,000. We have a few things left there. They've done the majority of the concrete, but we do have some asphalt and some subgrade testing that will be happening later. So we wanted to increase this budget amount by 5,000 to, you know, and this time I think we've overshot that, so I don't foresee us coming back for any additional, but this will cover us through.
Staying under the budget, okay.
Yeah, it'll
Okay.
cover us through construction.
So, Mr. Mr. Chairman, me. I'd like to make a motion to approve IGES task order for WRF influent project material testing in the amount of $5,000.
I'll second that.
Motion is seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Steve, the stacks.
All right, thank you, Board. So this is just to get 8 new stacks for the replacement plan that we got down there at the EDR plant, to continue with that. It's actually in next year's budget, but we're bringing it to you this early because of the lead time it takes to get them, so that we can have them. They try to change them out in winter time.
How long does it take to get them, 6 months?
So last year was about 6 months. The year before, it was almost a year. So, like I say, they like to change them in winter when it slows down a little bit, and
Yeah.
we don't have quite the demand. So that's why we're bringing it now.
I will just let the board know that ATK continues to be good partners.
Good.
And participate in the cost for these replacements and maintenance.
That's great.
That's
Fantastic.
Leal hasn't had any issue, or Steve, with them,
Good.
so
That's great. So,
we appreciate that partnership.
yeah, I think that's really important. I'd like to make a motion to purchase of 8 EDR stacks for 2026 replacement in the amount of $530,708.
Second that.
This motion is seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Are we to the
L2?
fraud risk or management, or master plan? Which one?
To master plan update.
Okay, I'll take that. We have been working with Bowman and Collins on updating our master plan. We've got a final draft of that. You have a separate document that was sent to you that's that full plan, water and sewer master plans, and they've put together some slides. And I'll turn the time over to Keith, and we'll just kind of run through an overview of what the master plans are.
Okay.
Go from there.
We're going to try to keep this pretty high level, not take up too much time, but slow us down if you have any questions. So, go ahead, Trevor. We're going to cover 3 things: the supply and demand, which we have talked with the board about, so I'm going to do that really quick, but just bring everybody back up to speed. And then talk about both our water, culinary and secondary conveyance and storage, and our sewer analysis relative to the adequacy of your facilities. So if you remember, we've made some changes since 2020. We did a comprehensive master plan analysis. Since that time, you've had a few things that have happened. I just want to point out 3 big ones. One is understanding a little more about land use and annexation on the west side, the Kennecott foothills. We know a lot more about that than we did 5 years ago. Number 2 is you've had a little more chance to develop your secondary water strategy, and I think it's been working out really well. We'll see how that looks coming up in a second. And number 3 is that conservation component. You've seen quite a bit of conservation. We've seen some trends develop there that are important to update in the plan. This is a projection of your growth. You can see that in terms of population, you were sitting at about a little over 35,000 persons today. Ultimately, that is expected to more than double to over 75,000 once all the Kennecott properties come in. That's way out at 2080 or 2090. But there's still significant growth left in the district. Go to the next one. This is where that growth is expected to be, and densities. The yellow is 2 units per acre, orange 2 to 5.6, and then some of those browns are the higher densities that are expected to come in the future. From a culinary water perspective, we've talked about this. I won't go through everything, but the colors represent your supplies, and then the lines represent different scenarios of demand. The 2 interesting ones to look at are the dashed brown and the dashed blue at the top. The dashed brown is what your demand is projected to be with just your a historic service area. And what you can see is that if we had that alone, you're in really great shape. We don't need any more culinary water. We're in really good shape. But with the annexation that comes from the foothills and potential Little Valley in the future, we end up going above the available supply of the district. So as part of this master plan, we are recommending a change in policy in which properties that annex in will bring in their own culinary water. And that's a little different than what we did 5 years ago, but understanding these additional demands and what they're going to do, that is the recommended policy to move forward. Annexation brings in culinary water. Is there a question on that, or you want to talk about that?
So they could put some wells on the east side, on that annex area, to provide those areas?
Well, I think the source of the water would likely be a contract with Jordan Valley. That seems to be the most likely source. I don't know that groundwater is our recommended, just given the what we know about the hydrogeology. We could explore that, but I think Jordan Valley is a more likely.
We've got Nathan, if he could just provide some context from what's happening with the legislature on that.
Well, I would prefer to do that offline.
Okay.
But I do have some questions about that. So the challenge with groundwater is that we have the Salt Lake Valley Groundwater Management Plan, which makes it very hard to move water from one part of the valley to the other because there are more paper water rights that have been approved than there are actual water molecules. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. So my understanding, and I know this is probably just, you're saying basically when someone wants to annex in, they need to dedicate new water. That's likely, I agree, going to have to come in the form of more water that we would then purchase from Jordan Valley, rather than an actual water right dedication, correct?
Correct.
And so
I think, Jordan Valley's, we're basing it somewhat on Jordan Valley's approach of, they're either making people bring water, or if they exceed their budget, like the budgeted areas, if they're gonna exceed that, they've gotta bring water or pay a premium. That could evolve as we get closer. I think right now, our view is the most logical approach would be Jordan Valley. But Kennecott might have some sources that would make sense that they haven't shared with us. So we don't know all of their options.
I would think they have a lot, but the lowest cost would be Jordan Valley. But would that go through us to go to the annexed area, or would that be independent?
yes, so that's what we would need to figure out in our policies, because Jordan Valley has established a higher rate so Jordan Valley has a service area of its own where it provides wholesale water. And basically what Jordan Valley has said is for people that want to annex into their service area that aren't currently in their current boundaries, because that's going to be much more expensive water, because the infrastructure and the other efforts they're going to have to take to provide that water, those types of annexations are going to cost more money than what the current rates are.
Right.
And so what we would need to figure out, because
and our approach to that is Jordan Valley is not going to treat any annexation. We can't show with a lot of definition that we're going to, no drop of Jordan Valley water can get into this annexation, right? So any annexation that's going to come, they're going to want to be able to address their concerns with that issue.
yeah,
And so it made sense.
So they might want to take care of all that water service?
Well, no, they'll just
don't do
require it with us.
yeah,
We'll have to be part of that.
yeah. So
Like they wanted to do that with Little Valley.
Okay.
We pushed back. They agreed not to with that one, but said any future one.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna hold the line on that?
Jordan Valley typically doesn't provide retail water. They will only sell water to a public entity.
Oh, I
So
see.
they're not, they used to be in the retail game, they're trying to get out of that. And so, what we need to figure out is a fair fee schedule, so if people are annexing in, we might need to have different fee schedules to account for. Because the annexed water, for the most part, unless they dedicate their own water rights, is likely gonna be more expensive.
I'm hearing it's terribly more expensive
The-
if it's not part of the plan, so.
And the thing is that sets us up in the best planning scenario.
Oh, it does?
Because it's the most, you know, it is probably going to be the most cost prohibitive, right? So if we were to, we are basically taking the worst case approach,
Okay.
right? If we wanted to change this plan again and make a modification in the future, we can. The thing we do have to acknowledge is we're not planning on significant internal capital investments in expansion of the treatment plant.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
so
I see.
that's the thing. We're not going to push our well fields beyond
Right.
a capacity that we feel.
But we might have to put maybe a storage tank or two in.
Yes, but we'll have facilities.
Which is still a minimal cost compared to drilling wells or something. Because I would think Kennecott has a lot of access to water rights in the ground, but that's a big cost.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think we probably want to have a policy where it's more than just a contract with Jordan Valley. But you're right, Kennecott does have a lot of really good water rights. It's just moving them, a lot of them are going to be surface rights potentially, or they're shares in canal companies. And sometimes moving that type of water to a groundwater well under the groundwater management plan can be very difficult. Just because they have water rights doesn't necessarily mean we can get them approved in our wells.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with your plan that you've got here, we can say, based on that development, we need X amount of water, and then we could petition for that. And so that would be like a 5-year plan or something?
Well, I think it would be on an individual annexation basis. So somebody comes to you with a proposed annexation, you would look at that, the water demands associated with that, and then you would evaluate what water they needed to bring to the table.
And we would probably want to adopt an annexation policy. Now, the annexation process to annex land into a district is really set forth in great detail in the code. There's not a whole lot of leeway we have in terms of the process. There's a public hearing, there's a notice. But in order to deny an application, the board would have to find that it's not feasible or it's inequitable. And so what I've done with other districts is we'll just define what infeasible or inequitable means. In this case, it would be, it's infeasible if you don't have water that you can dedicate to us for whatever reason. And we'll just make it a requirement that we won't approve annexations unless they can bring culinary water to the table.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are a number of details to work out in terms of the fee structure and things like that down the line once you have those annexations in place. But the important conclusion here is that needed policy change, which is when you annex, you need to bring culinary water with you. If we go to the next slide, this looks at secondary water, and I'm going to point out a couple things. The black dots and line there, that represents your historic growth in secondary, and you can see, Trevor, can you go back to the culinary real quick? You see that the culinary has stayed pretty much flat over the last 15 years or so, even though you've had some significant growth. What's happening is we're shifting that demand over to the secondary side, picking that up and extending our culinary resources. So we're doing a really good job extending that most valuable resource by using these secondary supplies. Long story short on this one is we're recommending the same concept. You have enough water to supply all your needs within the existing service area of the district. If somebody wants to annex in, they would need to secure additional secondary supply. However, the difference here is that you do have some significant potential secondary supply from shallow groundwater. And so you could sell that water to the annexation, at least while it's available. At some point down the line, they'd probably have to find another source, but at least for the short term, that would be my recommendation, is that you sell that shallow groundwater to them. So similar conclusion in that regard. One great thing is that I think there's a plan in place and you have adequate water for your existing service area and a plan for annexation. So it looks pretty good. These are the conclusions. I think we already talked about them. Conservation and secondary water are essential. You have sufficient supply for your existing service area. The third bullet point, secondary shallow groundwater rights will need to be developed to meet demands without relying on canal shares. That's both helps your existing area and the annexation. And then the last one is just a summary of the new policy that I talked about. Okay, so let's go talk about the individual facilities with both the systems, and Rachel's going to talk about that.
So we updated both models for water, or all three models, water, secondary, and sewer, based on the findings we found with the supply and demand master plan that Keith just went over. This right here is the results from the culinary master plan. The major change in the modeling on this is the fact that there's an assumption that the Jordan Valley water will be coming through the Magna Water District system in order to service Little Valley and the foothills areas. And that would require some increased pressures down on that southern line. But there are no major increases in upsizes of water required for that. As mentioned previously, there would be some need for some additional tanks on the western side over there.
So is a tank probably associated with a booster station?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the other major difference, is that there would be increased capacity needed within the booster stations to supply those areas, which wasn't previously planned for in the master plan. But as for the rest of the projects in the system, they're very similar to what they were previously. And our recommendation is to continue moving forward on those projects as they're planned in the future. I just highlighted some of the major changes. If we want to go to the next slide, this is for the secondary system. The major change in modeling on that side of things was the assumption that the secondary water will be provided by the district in their shallow groundwater rights and the available water they have there. 5 new wells were assumed around SR 201 right there, as Trevor's pointing out. They're pretty far spread out, but that's just for their shallow water influence, making sure we're not drawing those aquifers down too low. And then similar to the culinary side of things, even with that change, there are no major changes in upsizes for pipes. It's very similar to the master plan that was presented previously. And if we go to the next slide, here's the water implementation table. It specifically specifies all of the projects that have been found for both the culinary and secondary side of things, and is proposing a specific timeline for when those projects should be built out. If we go to the next slide, this is just a visual representation of that water implementation table, and it helps understand the different types of projects when they're coming on. I should note that the rehab and rehabilitation numbers, that red, you can see are changing quite drastically. A lot of that is dependent on specific rehab and rehabilitation projects that have been identified, and those are just the different timelines of including them within the system, with a general increase into the recommended level for rehab and rehabilitation on both the culinary and the secondary side of things.
If I could just point out a couple of things. These are all capital projects. The dashed blue at the top represents projects that we expect developers will be paying for. But everything else is things that you're going to need to be paying for. And what I would point out is that the 2 lines represent your historical level of funding. One is just, you've been doing about $3 million a year. If you just hold that constant, is that lower blue line, And if you increase it with inflation is the upper line there. What you can see here is two separate problems. In 2027, we have a fairly large expenditure above available funds in that gray. And so there could be a potential cash flow issue that may require some bonding. And then later, you know, once we start getting to 2029, 2030, 2031, we're actually falling behind what we need to do. So we're going to need some larger rate increases as we start to get later there. We haven't done a detailed rate study yet, but this is a pretty good preview of what we're going to see. Some bonding needed up front and some larger than, you know, typical inflation increases to kind of get us to the level of funding that we need. I think that's, is there one more slide on water? That's just the conclusions here, but questions or thoughts on water?
How long before we would have a rate study on what we need to do?
So that is part of our scope, and we'll be coming back to you within the next couple of months to identify
Because we need plenty of time to sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, the last rate increase was 8 years since we had a rate increase. It was $4 a month. And I think it went pretty good. There was a few screamers, maybe 4 or 5. I don't think it was too bad, but it really upsets people.
Yeah.
And I think we need to make the public aware way ahead of time.
Well, I mean, I think the good news is that you have done a really good job staying on top of things. I am meeting with probably a dozen different cities that have not done much since 2020, and they are looking at 25 to 30% increases in a single year to just capture all this inflation that's happened. I think you're in a much better position than they are, but you're still, I mean, nobody could have predicted how much inflation we've seen over the last 5 years. So I think there's going to be some catch-up that needs to happen over time. And hopefully we can do that gradually. Like I say, we'll look into that a little closer.
Can I just add to that? One of the other things that I'm seeing is if we're going in for public financing or support from the state, which we are, on lead and copper, I have some other clients that have done that. And the problem they're having is when they go to the state's like, you haven't kept your rates up. So we're not gonna, why should the taxpayers of the state of Utah have to subsidize your backlog of projects because you haven't been charging an adequate amount of water? So that's the state is really starting to crack down on that more so than it has in the past. And so if we want to stay eligible for some of these types of programs, which I assume we will, that's the other reason why we need to keep the fees.
Well, I think the advantage we have, we do have some resources, especially in our sewer, but in the water, we didn't have Jordan Valley, then we would really have a problem.
Okay, we'll wrap up the sewer.
So similar to water and secondary, we updated the models for sewer. In sewer, it has always been expected that Little Valley and Kennecott would be served through the district, and as such, there were no major changes in the modeling or in the findings from the models as far as projects moving forward. I will note that there was one additional project added in, and that's just a small diversion project. But the rest of the projects were very similar to previous studies. And this was because there has been plans for a while for Little Valley and Kennecott foothills in the area. So if we go to the next slide, we have the similar implementation table on the sewer side of things, just outlining a timeline for those capital improvement projects to be added in. And if we go on the next slide, this is also similar to water and secondary, where that bottom line is the available revenue for capital improvements, the bottom yellow, and then we have the blue line that increases about with 3% increases with inflation. This also includes some of the treatment plant improvement plans. And within the 10-year window, there's one project that's planned, which is a surface aerator. As we can see here, there's, excuse me. The system is a little front-loaded as far as the projects when they're coming on, and so there would be a potential requirement to bond for the city. And we're also seeing some of those similar needs on the rate side of some rate increases would be needed as well. But again, we haven't completed a full rate study yet. That's coming within the next couple of months.
Yeah, I would just again point out 27 and 28, there's some significant expenditures there. And unless the IR can come up with a lot of cash on hand, I think we're going to need to do some bonding. But more on that to come. I just want to kind of plant the seed, but that's what the initial results are showing us. We need to be a little bit of bonding to smooth out these costs up front.
Yeah, I think that we've been talking about that for a while, but we've done as much as we can to this point to avoid that. But I think the issue becomes the sewer trunk line along through the golf course, and that's becoming more and more of a priority for us to get that done as more of this development comes online and the age of that pipe continues to increase, because that's concrete. A lot of that is concrete, right?
Yeah.
And concrete pipe that's unlined does not generally do well with flat slopes.
I thought
and
we
sewer
lined that.
gases.
I thought we lined that one.
Not the whole section.
We've lined quite a bit.
Yeah, but we've tried to preserve that as long as we can.
Right.
But those two issues still push.
So our biggest help would be to go from the new line that's going under 201 at 8,000 and bring that up.
Through the
that.
golf course. And that's really a lot of this expense, besides the treatment plant, the one treatment plant
Yeah, you can
expense
see
that
all
she
these
showed.
Project.
That's just such a big project and big pipeline, it's just significant cost along there. That's the bulk of it.
Yeah.
Is that number 3 and 4?
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then is 5 to feed up from Little Valley?
Yeah, Little Valley put in a 15-inch line roughly to where this ends. So that would be connecting in and continuing that larger diameter as we.
So when we do 4 and 3 and 2, that all has to be 15-inch line? Or-
Much larger. So like 2 is a 36, 3 will be a 30. Can't recall off the top of my head what 4 is, but it's probably a 30 or 24, 15 downsize from that.
Basically, everything's collecting down along that area, and so you're just getting more.
Picking it up, yeah, okay.
And then to be big enough to handle a future, so we wouldn't have to upsize those,
Yeah.
that project 4.
Anything
and
that
3.
comes off the bench area could.
Yeah, everything's being sized for that overall demand that could be coming off the hill.
So we should get recouped, once that demand comes online, we would get some impact fees.
We're gonna upgrade with PVC, not concrete, right?
Correct.
So that's gonna reduce a lot of infiltration that's happening there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it. You just costs a lot of money right now. You mentioned impact fees. I'll just say, based on our general look at things, we have a pretty good feel that impact fees will be going up slightly. They won't be going down, they won't be going up a lot, but they'll be going up a little bit, is what we're projecting, and we'll come back and talk
Most projects would substantiate impact fees, though.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a capacity increase and all that, so.
I think that's all we have, unless there's any other questions.
No, that's excellent. You did a good job explaining it. That's
Rachel.
Keith,
Thank you.
I'll take it.
See, do we need to make a motion on that?
No, that was just a
Yeah.
update on
need
the
to.
draft. We'll bring it back at a later date for final approval, I think, along with the impact fees.
So Leal, you had a thing in on the regular board meeting schedule?
Yes. So this is the ad that will need to go on the newspaper, the public notice website by January, the first Monday in January. There's no exceptions. Everything is the second Thursday of every month.
There was no conflicts or anything?
Not that I could see as I went through it. Granted, we post this, and if something does change, we'll post the change, and reschedule if we have to, but for our first notice, this is what I came up with.
What you have.
Do we need to make a motion on this?
Yes.
Okay. So I motion that we accept the 2026 regular board meeting schedule based on what Leal's outlined for the second Thursday of the month.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Leal, want to talk about fraud risk?
Yeah, so this is our, sorry, my computer's a little slow, or I am. This is the annual fraud risk assessment that needs to be sent into the auditor's office, and prior years, we've scored, maybe I ought to look up here. I think we've scored in the moderate, but this year we're in low, thanks to Mandy, getting her bachelor's degree. So I feel like, yeah, this is the lowest we've been, and just need a motion to approve it. Unless you have any questions.
So. Excellent.
It's a series of questions. If we've got policies in place, we get a certain number of points, and so forth.
So do we need to make a motion on the fraud risk?
Yeah, you would move
Just
to
to
accept
accept
the
it.
report,
Yeah.
Oh,
the assessment.
okay. So I propose that we accept the 2025 fraud risk assessment that's been presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Leal, the benefit plan.
The next one is the district's defined benefit plan. The IRS makes changes constantly, and the APA Benefits has to put those IRS changes into our plan. They call it a restatement. None of the base conceptual type things have changed, but there's a list of the IRS changes in the packet. The definition for actuarial equivalent has been changed. Revised compensation limit has been updated to 330,000. These were all changes due to IRS regulations being changed. So they had to restate our defined benefit plan. Just need a motion to accept the restated defined benefit plan.
So everything listed here is adopted the new changes, or the new requirements?
Yep.
Okay. So, I make a motion to approve the district's defined benefit plan restatement per IRS regulations.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Let's see. Next board meeting, January 28th.
January 8th.
Yeah, January 8th. Which has already been motioned, so we're okay.
Yeah.
And the conference schedule, what is,
So that's just the conference schedule that's.
these are for
Conferences
training and
that are coming up,
everything, right?
yeah. Opportunities that, these are ones we've historically attended,
Yeah,
for the boards. We'll bring back each individual one for approval, but just for the board's awareness of what, if there's any you wanna plan around, or consider.
yeah. I'd like plenty of time to talk about those. If we have anybody that's going to Chicago or
Yeah.
Washington, we need to do that ahead of time.
Yeah, we haven't done that for the past, couple of years, but we can talk about that and see if there's any interest, and get back to the board with plenty of time.
Now, the September Intermountain AWWA, that's in Logan. Is that,
This year, yeah, it was in Vernal this last year.
oh, who attended that one?
I attended that one and Lee Isle.
I did. Mhm.
Okay.
That's a really good conference for water issues.
Logan's closer than Vernal, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. And remind everybody of the dinner, tomorrow at
Tomorrow.
5:30?
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate sending the flyer, so I put that on my fridge, so I won't forget. I think I can take my wife, can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Has she been to one?
Yeah, she was, I
think
think
so.
Oh, yes, she was last year. That's right.
Okay, is there anything else?
We don't have any reason for a close, so.
Yeah, so did I miss anything? I think we got everything. Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody today. I think it went pretty smooth considering all the stuff we had to go through. Thank Colin and Collins. I really appreciate the work you guys do. We've got to stay a step ahead of this thing, so I appreciate them. Okay, so you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
To adjourn?
Make a motion to close the meeting?
Yeah,
It would be to adjourn if we're not having a closed session.
yeah.
Go ahead and do that.
We'll just make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it. All in favor? All in favor? Aye. Okay. 11:32.
Okay.